Apologize. What was your last name?
Sheets, just
Okay,
like sheets
thank you,
of
Ms. Sheets.
paper. 3 doors from Koppers since '77, which is 34 years of my 60 years on the planet. I'm still concerned about Koppers. Even before, I worked at ESE, which set all the Superfund sites around the whole United States. So I've been aware of this before it was let out to the world at large. And I'm still there, mostly because I have told myself I'm not leaving until it's all done, but I'll probably be dead before it's all done. And I know that. Anyway, I'll cry if I don't read. I'm supposed to be many other places today, but this is important.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I don't feel that the ROD plan will ever provide adequate remediation such that on-site, even a portion of the property will most likely ever be healthy enough for the inferred potential residential use, much less other than as a Superfund toxic hopeful containment, no guarantees, never will be, and monitoring ad infinitum for the rest of our lives. Meanwhile, I'm ever concerned with past, present, and future contamination of our residential and commercial properties for miles out, much less those of us who are anywhere close to, and how it affects all of us ongoing, has been and will be ad infinitum. As a resident for all these years, and having had levels of fugitive dust tested in my yard in '99, and then last year the dioxin levels tested, which were most disconcerting to the point of 39 parts per trillion, much higher than the 7 parts per trillion state level. And that's in my front yard. And then on the easement, which is essentially part of my yard as well, 70 parts per trillion. I'm very alarmed at what I've been exposed to for many, many, many years. That doesn't include the rest of my yard or what's up and down along the line. There are only a couple of properties and easement areas that have been tested, and mine is the very highest. And I have lived there the longest. And so I'm very concerned because I do have health issues as well. I've a real problem with the health department's advisory to those of us that live in the neighborhood that the recommendation is to include hand washing with soap and water after contacting bare soil areas between the areas of 26th and 32nd. I'm on 30th. So meanwhile, don't worry. You know, I've talked extensively with Anthony Dennis and expressed my concerns, and I thank him for ongoing recommendations to some of us. However, I still remain dismayed that as of a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago, that in notifying him, we still don't even have a contamination sign at the end of our dead-end street that says that where the no trespassing signs are between the neighbors and Koppers, there's no sign that says contaminated property on the other side. That's not right, especially to live in one of the most contaminated properties in the whole neighborhood. I got a real problem with it. All right. See where I am. I want to say that everyone who has high levels of contamination has reason to worry because we're now being told that we're going to have to wait for more and more and more and more testing before any of us receive any satisfaction. If my neighbor's property hasn't been tested and mine's already been tested high, is there any guarantee that my own property can be cleaned up while nobody else's has even been tested, and what guarantee, and when will that happen? How many months, how many years, how many anything? I remain ever increasingly dismayed, depressed, and ongoing and increased compromise in health, being directly exposed to toxins not only outside but inside my home. I can't open my windows. I can't enjoy just sitting in my yard for the dust blow by, because I do have fugitive dust issues in my yard as well. And I just urge just expedition, and particularly of letters that will address the issues not just on site but particularly off site in the testing of our homes, and respite from taxing. The fact that I could never even think about selling my home. I can't abandon my home. I have no money to abandon my home and go elsewhere. And meanwhile, I'm probably going to live and die there just like so many others have.
Ms. Sheets, can I ask you your opinion of the motion?
Of the what?
Of the motion that's up there.
Oh, yes. Well, I agree with all of that, and I could probably add, but I can't do it right now. I'll
Okay.
just fall into more tears. But I do have a problem also with, I know that there are several empty places on our yard that both realtors and people who own their home and they're just putting their self-rental signs out, they're not disclosing. They really are not disclosing. There are so many empty properties, and I personally know that there is non-disclosure going on, and that concerns me greatly, particularly because the area where I live, where there are so many empty properties, that it is an ongoing, and who knows how much further out that is happening.
Ms.
But I do
Sheets?
thank you for listening to all of us, and just please do what you can for our community.
Okay, thank you very much.